Hello super friends and welcome to DC TV Talk, and in today's episode we're going to be going over the theory that I've come up with regarding the future of Rene in the Arrow Season 7 flash forwards and the possible introduction of the Wild Dog Militia, so let's discuss. So in the flash forward storyline this season for Arrow in Season 7, we have seen future versions of characters such as William, Zoe Ramirez, Roy Harper and also Dinah Drake. However, one character who has been kind of absent from the entire future storyline, despite a couple of name drops here and there, is Zoe's father, Rene Ramirez, otherwise known as Wild Dog. It's been very mysterious not to see him kind of been showing up in this, given the fact his daughter is so heavily involved in the flash forwards, but given the fact of what Zoe said at the end of episode 8, it seems like we could be seeing and visiting future Rene very soon, more specifically in episode 10, the mid-season premiere for Arrow Season 7. So it seems like we could be seeing the future Rene very soon. Now, the reason why I bring up Rene's future storyline is because I feel like it's going to be heavily linked to what's been going on with him in the present day storyline in Season 7 so far. Thus far, Rene's story has been very heavily focused on helping the Glades, helping them, become sustainable, helping them become a functioning part of the city once again, as they've never really been the same. I mean, it was always the pits of Star City, but especially after the events of Season 1, the Glades never really became the same place it ever was. And Rene has really been focused on building that, with his community center. He's kind of like this community leader for the Glades, and also with him working with the new Green Arrow, otherwise known as Emiko Queen. We know that he is, trying to get in contact with the new Green Arrow because she's also been helping the Glades. So with all that being said, it seems like his story is so heavily linked to the Glades, and given what we know about the Glades that's going on in the future, it seems like they could be linked in that way. Now, like I said, Rene is kind of like a community leader. A lot of people listen to him, a lot of people follow him, and a lot of people respect him within the Glades. And I think this could possibly lead to Rene almost creating a sort of an army for him. Not in a bad way, but just as a way to protect the Glades and to actually keep it sustainable, which is his goal all along. Enter the Wild Dog Militia. Now, the Wild Dog Militia is a concept that was introduced in the comics, and it is an idea that Wild Dog is a kind of army leader, militia leader, who has all of these followers who all wear hockey masks just like Wild Dog, and they go around and they protect the Glades and they protect the rough areas of Star City. Now, obviously in the comics it's a little bit different, but obviously I'm talking about this as it would be in the show. So I feel like this series and this season and these flash forward scenes could really be going this way and this direction for Rene, given what they're setting up with him in the present day storyline and given what they're going to do with him in the future. Obviously we have to wait and see what they're going to do with him in the future storyline, but it seems like what they've done with him and what they're going to be doing with him in the present day storyline is heavily linked and heavily hinting at this Wild Dog Militia storyline, which I think would be a really exciting one to explore for Rene. Plus, Rene is kind of like the leader of the Glades. We've kind of seen that, and what we know from the flash forwards, thanks to Zoe Ramirez, his daughter, the Glades has kind of risen up in the future. The Glades is kind of the most popular area of Star City within the future, and is the area that is the most heavily fortified. It's kind of like its own separate area of the city that's been completely walled off, and it's its own area, and it's just filled with its own people, essentially, and even the police don't really touch it. So it's kind of a weird area, and this could be thanks to Rene's doing. And I don't know how this is actually going to play in terms of the story, but it would definitely be interesting, and I don't quite know, again, how they're going to have to write this and how they're going to handle it, but I feel like Rene and this future storyline, they've just got to be connected in some way, given the dialogue and everything they've been hinting at with him in the main storyline. Now, I know some of you watching this are going to bring up a quote that you will all assume is going to completely debunk my theory, which is that in episode, I believe it was episode 4 or 5, somewhere around there was a line in the flash forwards from Zoe Ramirez where she said, and I quote, "My father wouldn't be seen dead in Star City." So, you would assume, oh well, Rene's not in Star City. But as I mentioned earlier, the Glades it's basically its own separate thing. It's technically not even a part of Star City in the future. So with her saying that he wouldn't be seen dead in Star City doesn't necessarily mean that he wouldn't be seen dead in the Glades, especially because, as we know, Rene is very respected in the Glades. So unless something really drastic happens and the Glades turn on him, I don't quite see why he would be so, disheartened and so pretty much banned from the Glades. So I feel like the Glades being a separate area of Star City, it's not actually a part of the main city story, main city skyline. They're going to have to disconnect that in some way, and I feel like that's what she's talking about. Yes, he wouldn't be seen dead in Star City, but he's very much welcome in the Glades. So could this whole storyline happen? Could Rene actually be the leader of the Glades, and could he start up the Wild Dog Militia? Well, I definitely think it's an interesting concept, and given how dark and serious Arrow has been this season, and realistic it's been, and also given how relevant Rene has been this season, I think this is the best Rene has ever been. I feel like they are definitely hinting at something interesting with him, especially because I believe it was in episode 8 we heard Dinah say to Rene in the present storyline, you know, have you ever thought about running for office? And this, again, that line really gave me a hint at this potential storyline as well. Maybe he doesn't want to be the ruler and leader of Star City, but he would be for the Glades, which he feels very passionate about. And I feel like all of this, and then him having to protect it, how does he do that? He needs an army. Well, he can't have a police force, so he will bring up his own version of the police force, i.e. the Wild Dog Militia. And given the fact that most people in the Glades by this point will probably know that Rene is a vigilante, they will know that he was Wild Dog, they will be able to follow that and put on the mask, and kind of like what they're doing on Supergirl this season with the Children of Liberty, similar kind of thing, but they are a lot more mentally stable. So all that being said, I feel like this storyline could happen. It would definitely be something I personally really like to see. And just to go on a little bit of a tangent here, there was also this release today from C. Shamuka, who is the actress who plays Emiko Queen. And as you can see in this photo, it's her. We also have the actress who plays Zoe Ramirez, the actor who plays Roy Harper, Colton Haynes, and then we also have the actor who played Connor Hawke in the Legends of Tomorrow Future Star City episode. Now, I bring this up just because we are sort of talking about the future storyline in this episode, so could Connor Hawke, you know, John Diggle Jr., could he be returning in this? I feel like the possibility is most certainly there. Now, I'm not saying he's going to become Connor Hawke and take up the mantle of the Green Arrow like he did in you know, in the Legends of Tomorrow episode, because as Beth Schwartz, the executive producer and showrunner of Arrow, did say, that timeline is erased, it's not connected to the future timeline that's going on in Arrow right now, they're completely separate things, and also that original timeline from Legends was destroyed anyway. So, I'm not saying he'll be returning as, you know, as the future Green Arrow, but what I feel like is likely is we still could see John Diggle Jr., you know, and to get the same actor back, you know, that still makes perfect sense. You know, it's not going to, like, he's going to completely change looks due to these different timelines. So I feel like it's completely fine and completely appropriate to get back this same actor to play John Diggle Jr., but I don't think he'll be the new Green Arrow. But will it be cool for him to return? Yes, definitely. Obviously, there's no confirmation of him returning. This is purely just a post on Instagram. But given the combination of actors we have here, it seems like it's a bit too convenient for this actor to be on the set at this point with these particular actors. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. It'll help me out a lot. And share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV and get them to join the community. And as always, guys, please subscribe for your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Arrow. And with all that said, guys, I hope to see you again in my next video.